All right, guys, I'm back. It's May 20th, and I have my favorite home run plays on the way. But before we do, let's recap yesterday and the first losing day of this new strategy that we are bringing forward. Day 6, minus 4.15 units. That's fine. It's going to happen. You know, you can't win every single day. We had 5 straight in a row. We're still up 18.9 units in the last 6 days, hitting 14 of 61 batters that qualified under this model or strategy. You could see on the screen all the players that qualified yesterday. We had 4 hit, okay? But 2 of the 4, in Kyle Schwarber and Ohtani over on the far left, they did not qualify because their odds they hit a home run were way too low. I think Schwarber was plus 230, too low to play under the, the conditions that, it's just not, not going to play it. Ohtani was sub 200, so we don't play anybody in those ranges. I mean, we'll maybe dip down to like plus 285 if I really love someone. But so the only 2 of these were Taylor Ward that hit a home run at plus 425, Ramirez plus 560. So like I said, Schwarber and Ohtani are eliminated off. We did not play them. So that left us with what? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 players. We got 2 to hit. That's why, we need 1 more to hit, and it would have been a profitable day. So it just didn't happen for us, but that's fine. Like I said, a plus 18.9 units. Moving on to this right here, players that fit both criteria. So what this is using last year's model, which I don't like as much as this year's new experimental one. But last year's hit 72.1 units for us. But a little tweak, I think, is much better. But for the players that qualified under last year's model and this new model, you can see on the screen right there, those were the ones. Again, Schwarber and Ohtani showed up and hit home runs. They were part of both models, but like I said, the odds were too low. So when we didn't bet those, we were left with all the ones in green, and none of them hit. Minus 9 units yesterday. So that brings us to 6 of 31 hit and still up plus 1.5 units year to date. Again, just 6 days. So there you go. I'm really loving this new this new model that we're probably just going to transition to doing that. I'm not sure. It's a little different in terms of how you look at the pitchers from the experimental or new versus the one we used last year. And today's video is going to be the last one where I start, it's kind of confusing even for me to talk about. We're just going to transition to, this is the model we're using, and these are the extra criteria, basically, of looking at the pitcher and adding some more elements in. Unfortunately, like I said, this one right here where the players fit both criteria, it left off 2 of the winners. Okay, so the experimental or the new strategy going forward was the more beneficial strategy or the ones that yielded to players that did much better. So with that being said, I put the official plays that I was betting in the pinned comments. As always, I just bet them for 0.005 units because it's kind of early in the season, and we only had 1 of the 11 to hit. It was Taylor Ward. We did not put Ramirez, who also hit. That would have been much nicer to put that in, but it did not. I did not put him in. I should just go and play like all the model plays instead of like picking and choosing. So just because we bet 0.05 of a unit yesterday, we netted a negative about 1/3 of a unit loss. So we're still plus 161 units, 1.61 units, betting peanuts, basically 0.05. And there was a time we were betting 0.1 of a unit. I'm not betting 1 unit like I'm tracking these models. I track these models, the performance, using 1 unit because it's much easier for people to understand how effective they are. If I start like doing 0.05, they're like, I don't know what the hell's going on. What the hell's 0.05? Like 1 unit, so you can understand how many units it would be up. Real easy measurement. So with that being said, I also want to say today's plays, it said on the top, today's plays hit 4 of 12. I was in a rush to put this video up because it's getting so late. So that should not say 4 of 12. That was from the other day. It should say 1 of 11 hit. Okay, so there you go. All right, here's today's plays. Day number 7 of this new model strategy. Basically, it's a hybrid of what I was doing last year. I think it's better, and it's proven to be better than what we did last year. Okay, minor tweaks. So you can see on the screen right here, all the players that qualify: Gunnar Henderson and Jackson Holliday of the Baltimore Orioles, Seiya Suzuki of the Chicago Cubs, Zach Neto and Taylor Ward of the LA Angels, Shohei Ohtani from the LA Dodgers. That's not going to be a play. It qualifies, but ultimately we only play players that are plus 300 or higher. Sometimes you dip down to like a little bit lower, but he's going to be priced at like plus 200 or worse. So he is not going to be a play. I put him on the screen for you guys because some people like to put him in a parlay with other players that are real low. Like say one will see Aaron Judge. It's a few lower. He's not a play either. He's going to be like plus 200 or worse. Yesterday, someone took two players like that were unplayable, odds too low, parlayed them together, and they did really well. Okay, so I put them on the screen because they qualify. They just don't qualify when it comes to having the good risk reward. Okay, the odds plus 300 or more is what I'm looking for. Okay, so Kyle Stowers, Augustin Ramirez from the Miami Marlins. We talked about Judge. He's not going to be really a play. Cody Bellinger. Ben Rice is in blue because he's not showing up on the sports books. You know, he's not showing up with any odds. I did a quick Google search. I didn't see anything. Usually right away you see injury, bang, looks like that. Didn't see nothing. Doesn't look like he's going to play, but I have him on the screen there just in case somehow he shows up and he's going to play and the sports books have odds for him. So I just want him to be on the list, but he probably is not a play because he's not going to play. Wilson Contreras, St. Louis Cardinals. So there you go. These are the ones that I'm going to bet today. I'm sticking with the experimental strategy. Okay, so again, I have the players that fit both criteria, which again, it's not going to be confusing tomorrow. I'm going to have this set going forward in a better way, but I just want for you guys that have been here from last year, this is the players that qualify for the model last year that produced 72.1 units, and then the tweak to this new experimental one this year. That's basically a derivative of what we did last year, and it's basically predicated on looking at the pitchers a little differently. So of the players that I had on the previous screen, here are the players that qualified under the last model or the experimental model and last year's. So you can see a lot of the same names. There's only 2 names that got dropped off. It's Jackson Holliday and Zach Neto. So I'm not going to play these players right here. I want to add those 2. I want those 2. Okay. So I'm going to play the other, but those 2 got knocked off because they did not qualify under last year's model. Now, if your head's spinning already, like I said, tomorrow we're going to be a lot better. I'm just trying to kind of transition over so that you guys know what's going on. Okay. And if you're new here, you might be like, I don't know what the hell's going on. But, okay. So I'm going to put my official plays in the pinned comment of this video. So there you go. And then all we'll have to do is weather. So here you go. You can see a lot of nice weather and then some nasty ones. So Fenway Park, not so good, negative 25. And then like a lot of the players we have, again, any players that are in a negative weather game, okay, which is like, minus 20 or higher, I kind of like want to stay away from. Those ones would be eliminated off the list. Usually, I don't even put them on the list for you to even see, okay? So, and none of them are on the list today that are in a bad weather game. So the next rest of them here, you can see there's some nasty ones here. I liked some players in Oracle Park. I liked some players in Target Field, but left off the list because part of them qualifying under this model is you got to be in a conducive weather game, or a game where it's going to not be too negative. It's already hard enough to hit home runs. We don't need the weather to be freaking playing a factor. We already have the factor of the pitcher and the batter and all the other stuff that goes on. If the weather's not going to cooperate, then it's like, man, just like too many things working against you. You just got to pass and play for another day. So there you go. Weather right there. And like I said, I'm excited for today. and I'll put my official plays, which are basically going to be every single one of those experimental model, which I'm going to come up with a different name because it's not experimental. It's what we're going to use going forward. I'm going to put in the pinned comments and all the odds and all that stuff. So that's it. Geez, I just want to say I absolutely love every single one of you guys, and I'll just talk to you guys tomorrow.